Hello guys and welcome. This is Arvind again from Carlist.my, and in today's video we're going to be looking at sleepers. Now what are sleepers? Any cars that like to sleep? More on that. Now when you think of a fast car, you probably think Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, things like that. And when you think of Ferrari, Lamborghini, you normally think, hey, sporty car, very nice gempak color, like it must be striking red and things like that. So we normally assume when we see something that is dramatic and very sporty that the car is fast. That's a good thing. And of course, when you're buying a Lamborghini, you're paying $2-3 million for a car. Of course, you want it to stand out. Of course, you want to shout, hey, look at me. There are also cars that are fast, but they don't shout about it. Of course, yeah, it might not be as fast as a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, but they might be really, really fast, but very, very unassuming. It's even sweeter when you think I'm not fast, but then I can smoke you. So a sleeper is the perfect epitome of a wolf in sheep's clothing. A car that looks fast, a car that looks normal, but it's actually very fast. So we highlighted 5 cars that are on sale currently in Malaysia that are proper sleepers. I mean, you wouldn't know unless you know, and if you try to go up against one of them, they are going to make you eat humble pie. This car on our list is the W205 Mercedes AMG C43 bi-turbo 4MATIC. Yes, I think I got the word right. So I got the name right. So basically, the C43 is sort of the middle child between the run-of-the-mill C200, C300 models from Mercedes and the most powerful Mercedes AMG C63, the most powerful version of a C-Class. Now the C43, what I love about it is it's not much more different than a C300. In fact, right now with the AMG line packages that you get on the C-Class, it doesn't look any different from that. But what you get underneath the hood is a 3-liter bi-turbo twin turbocharged V6 engine with 1.1 bar of boost. So basically that engine puts out 390 horsepower and 520 Newton meters of torque. So that's a lot of power. Now all that power goes to an AMG SpeedShift 9-speed transmission, and then it distributes all that power again to all four wheels. So it's an all-wheel drive car with a torque split of 31 at the front and 69% of the torque to the rear. So what you get is a very simple looking car, not much different than a C300, but you get 390 horsepower under the hood, all-wheel drive, a proper AMG 9-speed transmission, and this translates into a blindingly fast car, and it's got traction, it's easy to drive, it's very fun to drive, and it doesn't have the big price tag of the C63 as well. So there you have it. This is the first car on our list, the C43 AMG, and it is one hell of a rocket ship which looks nothing much more special than a C300. A Volvo was always going to be on this list, chief of which because Volvos, they are very understated. They're like, hey, I know they are luxurious, they are beautifully built, very capable cars, lots of high-tech stuff in them, but they don't shout about it. It's the Nordic way, let's say. The one that we love the most. It's a rocket ship, but it doesn't shout. It is the Volvo S60 T8. For those who are familiar with the model, you know it's got a 2-liter turbocharged engine up front, and it's aided by an electric motor and a huge battery. Now, when you combine the two, you get 407 horsepower and 640 Newton meters of torque. That's even more than the C43 that we were talking about earlier. When you look at the outside, yes, I would say that the S60 is a very, very stylish car. It is one of the more shouty Volvos out there as opposed to an S90 or an XC60. But it is still a very understated car, and given that not many people know about it, this is one car you do not want to drag race with, because if you've ever seen our Merdeka drag race, this thing basically annihilates 80% of cars on the road. I mean, Take for instance, if the batteries are at a healthy level, this thing will accelerate from 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds. Now, to give a benchmark of that, the original Lamborghini Gallardo, if I'm not mistaken, also did it in 4.4 seconds. That's how fast this family sedan, who sits 5 in comfort and beautiful luxury, which is it's actually under 300,000, can accelerate in 4.4 seconds to 0 to 100. Now, of course, I think you also know that Volvo have capped all their cars starting from last year to just a maximum top speed of 180 km. The car will not go past that, but it will reach that really, really fast. And I can assure you, this is one of the fastest cars you can buy on sale today. So there you go, sweet sleeper. Now, we had to have different types of cars, right? I mean, it can't all be just sedans. So we had to have a truck, and we thought long and hard about this, because all trucks try to show off that they are macho and they are big and they are very strong and they can go anywhere and there's tons of torque and you can tow your house with it. But there are ones that actually have the ability but don't really shout about it. And the one that really stuck with me was the 2015-2016 Ford Ranger Wildtrack. If you remember the Wildtrack when it was, or rather the current generation of the Ford Ranger, a lot of the thunder was kind of stolen by the Ford Ranger Raptor. So now that's how you don't build a sleeper, because when you look at a Raptor, I'm like, yeah man, it's wide bodywork, big wheels, it's raised up, and it looks powerful, it really looks good, and I love the Raptor, don't get me wrong. But it did steal a lot of the thunder away from the Wildtrack, which was previously the flagship model that you could buy for the Ford Ranger. If you take away the Ford Raptor, the Wildtrack, of course, it is a bit more expensive than the rest of the trucks in its range. It's about 150k, but you do get active safety and a whole lot of tech and luxury in the car, or convenience features in the car, and it's got leather seats, you name it. Now, the Ranger Wildtrack also has the same 2-liter EcoBoost bi-turbo engine that the Raptor has. It offers 213 horsepower or thereabouts and about 500 Newton meters of torque, making it one of the most powerful diesel engines on sale currently in Malaysia. And you also get the 10-speed automatic transmission that the Raptor gets. So essentially, it is got the same sort of drivetrain components as the Raptor. Of course, the Raptor has got additional bits for suspension and all that to help it put up with all the abuse of, if you want to go to sand dunes and things like that. But the Raptor the Wildtrack, is actually as capable because of its drivetrain, and it's got all the 4-wheel drive systems that even the Raptor has, but it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot more understated. If you're looking for a sleeper truck that is really quick, and having driven it, I can tell you this thing gets up to speed really quickly. It rifles through the first 5, 6, 7 gear ratios in its transmission, and it gets up to like 100, 110 like that. It's a really quick truck. Very, very nice to drive. It looks good. It's understated at the same time, so it's the grown-up option. So yeah, if you want a sleeper truck that has all the ability and really goes everywhere, then yeah, Ford Ranger Wildtrack, not the Raptor. Now we move to the only SUV on this list. It is the Mazda CX-5 2.2 turbo diesel high spec. There needs to be no introduction to the CX-5. It's one of the most successful small SUVs on sale. It's Mazda's bestseller. It's a lovely looking, lovely driving SUV, and we love it. I haven't met a single person that doesn't love the Mazda CX-5. Now, of course, being that it's the volume seller, Mazda actually, I think they have close to 7 variants or 8 variants across different engine choices and drivetrains, and of course 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Like you get the normal 2 liters and the naturally aspirated 2 liter, you get a 2.5, you get a 2.5 turbo, and then sort of the flagship is the Mazda CX-5 2.2 turbo diesel. So yes, it's a clean diesel, and it also comes with 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, if I'm not mistaken. I think prices are about 166,000 for the 2-wheel drive. So that's the one we're talking about. This thing pulled, it accelerates like a freight train, man. It is so fast. It is the most unassuming SUV out there, and it will keep up, trust me, with an X5, with an X3, with a Mercedes GLC, you name it, this thing will keep up. It's got, on paper, it doesn't look like a lot. It's got 188 horsepower, 450 Newton meters of torque. It only power, okay, in the case of the two-wheel drive, powers only the front wheel, and it sends all that power to a 6-speed Skyactiv automatic transmission. So, nothing great, right? Until you drive it. This thing is so effing quick, and there's no other way to explain it. It's just Mazda have done a brilliant job on how this engine delivers its torque. It is delightfully linear. You get that torque spread all across as you accelerate. It is a very peaky engine. 188 horsepower for a 2.2 turbo diesel is a very impressive number, and you get the amazing Skyactiv drive 6-speed transmission, which because of its enhanced lockup clutch, it feels almost like you're shifting a manual transmission, and it's so direct. When it's not marketing jargon, Mazda know a lot about making a car that feels so delightful to drive, so connected to what you want to do. And otherwise, it's just the CX-5. It's got a big boot. It's got decent seating for 5. It looks no different than the others. Maybe save some aesthetic differences and maybe different wheels, but yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, it is a bona fide CX-5. But if you ever see this car on the road and you try to drag race it, oh my god, you're gonna be surprised. Trust me. We move on to the last and final car on this sleeper list, and it's none other than the Honda City RS, the much beloved Honda City RS. If you remember correctly, the Honda City was actually launched in October of last year, and there were some delays in introducing the RS, and it was launched in March of this year. And it's good things come for those who wait, because this is the most high-tech, the safest, and the coolest Honda City ever made. So basically, yeah, the Honda City is a well-known quantity. It's a spacious family sedan, small sedan in fact, but very, very spacious. It's got a huge boot. It's very accommodating. It's very easy to drive. It's nice to look at, and it's cheap to run. So there's nothing you can probably not like about a Honda City. Now the City RS takes that to the next level, because for the first time they're introducing a lot of high tech into what is essentially one of their entry-level cars or entry-level models. The City RS is quite a bit more expensive than the rest of the Honda City range. It's about 106k or just under 106k. But for that, you get the first application in the city of the Honda Intelligent Multi-Mode Drive engine. So what that basically means is it's got a 1.5 liter engine, but it's also got 2 electric motors, one's a starter generation, one generator, one's a traction motor to help the engine to produce more power and also recoup energy when you're braking and things like that. So all this add efficiency, but for the first time, Honda have played up the fact that this also adds a lot of power. When you add the two together, the electrical motors and the engine, the Honda City RS pumps out 109 PS and 253 Newton meters of torque. So needless to say, that is a lot of torque. It is, and courtesy, because it's electrically powered, or it comes from a motor, that torque is almost instantaneous. So it's perfect for when you want instant acceleration, instant power to overtake, and it also adds efficiency. So if you look at a Honda City RS, besides, it's got a striking red paint job, that's the highlight color. It does come with some other colors, but you barely notice that it's got probably different wheels. It's got a different grille at the front and a spoiler at the back. So otherwise, this is just a Honda City, one with 253 Newton meters of torque. And when you couple that to the Honda City is not a very heavy car to start with, then this car has some serious go. And it's also the cheapest car on our list at like I said, 105,000 plus. So there you have it. You don't need to have a very, very powerful car as well. It can be a very mundane car, and that's the beauty of it, because you don't want to shout when you're in a sleeper. So how else do you just sort of blend in than a Honda City? But now with the RS, you get power and you get efficiency. So that wraps up our list of 5 sleeper cars you can buy in Malaysia today, which do not shout, but they have all the go that you need. Until next time, stay safe, drive safe, we'll see you soon.